I don't know if you guys can tell or not, but it's raining really hard outside and summer's coming to an end, and it has me in the mood for comfort food. Today I'm going to show you my recipe for this delicious red beans and rice. Meet me in the kitchen, let's make it happen.
You gonna eat your cornbread?
Bring me off a piece of that phone.
Mama!
I could take this bowl, sit on the couch, and watch scary movies all day. Rubbing my feet together.
Oh my God.
Alright guys, first things first, as with most recipes that are in the Cajun or Creole family, we get the party started with the Cajun trinity. That's comprised of onion, bell pepper, and celery. We also have some herbs here, the kind you cook with, not the kind that cook you. We're going to tie them up with some thyme or some butcher's twine, like hostages. Dip them in the hot tub. This is just easier, that way you don't have to fish them out later. So I'm going to try to attach the bay leaves and the thyme all in one little bundle. See if I remember how I did this in Boy Scouts. Never went to Boy Scouts. Probably why I can't tie a knot very well. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. Got a little herb bundle. Set that to the side, and now we can prep the trinity. So we're going to start it with the celery or whatever you feel like getting started with. We're going to dice this up into nice small pieces. It's going to add some flavor to the party. You're going to find things like celery, bell pepper, and onion in pretty much everything that's in this genre of food. Things like gumbo, etouffee, jambalaya, you name it. It's got the Cajun trinity at the foundation. So we're going to dice up our celery. If for whatever reason you don't like one of these ingredients, you can leave it out. Just don't post about it on social media because the folks from New Orleans will crucify you. If you want to spice things up a little bit, you can add some jalapeno to the party. Totally optional. Use whatever color bell pepper you like as well. Today what we had in the fridge was orange and green. Usually I like to use green and red, but we didn't have that, so that's what we're going with. All right, so we got our celery and bell pepper prepped. Now it's time to prep the onion. I like to leave the root intact, makes it a little bit easier to dice. Make your cuts in one direction, following the natural lines in the onion like so. Spin it around. Take your blade through the onion once or twice, depending on how fine you want the dice to be. Then protect your fingers, and boom, you got a nice diced onion. Real simple. The key here is to make sure you have a nice sharp knife and to protect your fingers at all times. Same thing for the other half. Next up, let's talk about the andouille sausage. Again, another very common ingredient in Cajun and Creole recipes. This is a smoked sausage. You can get it in beef, pork, or chicken, sometimes turkey. I believe this is of the pork variety to piss off the pork patrol out there. But all jokes aside, guys, use whatever you like. Chicken is a good option. I use that a lot too. I like to cut mine into little bite-sized pieces here. That way it's a little bit more of a uniform bite. So again, just nice sharp knife, run it right through your andouille sausage. Another best practice is to have two separate cutting boards, one for meat, one for vegetables. I like to get these color-coded ones, that way I don't forget. Just to, keep your kitchen nice and sanitary. That's what they do in commercial restaurants as well. So nice little best practice for you. We're going to dice this up. This is about 12 ounces of sausage here. That will get the job done. And we're using some smoked turkey, which is going to add tons of flavor to this recipe. So plenty of protein from the meat and from the beans. Some fiber. We're going to pair this up with some rice, maybe with some cornbread if I'm feeling frisky later. And you got yourself an absolutely delicious comfort food meal, or in some instances, a side dish. But this could definitely be a whole meal. It was when I was growing up. All right, guys, let's talk about the star of the show, the beans for this recipe. Today we're using red kidney beans, which is how I grew up eating it, and it's pretty traditional or common. You can get red beans also. When you buy the fresh dried red kidney beans, you want to soak them in water overnight in the fridge. We've already done that, and now they're ready to be cooked. All right, guys, this recipe calls for a Dutch oven, and you need one with some character. It's got to have some bumps and some bruises, a stain or two, a chip. That's how you get the great flavor that comes with something like red beans and rice. All jokes aside, heat your Dutch oven or heavy pot skillet. Never seen that before. Makes me want to have a drink. Y'all seen that before?
No.
Fancy. All right. We're going to add a little oil to the bottom of our pot here, and then we're going to get that andouille sausage on in there before it gets too hot, because we want the sausage to be in there for a few minutes before it gets too hot. That way there's time for the fat to render. That fat's going to add flavor to the rest of the dish. So we can get that andouille sausage in there with a little bit of olive oil, and just give it some time. We want to get it nice and golden brown, plenty of fat to render. That's going to flavor the Cajun trinity that we're going to add right after that. House is going to be smelling amazing. This is one of those Sunday recipes that kind of come together over the course of a couple hours, maybe while the game is on. Friends come over, house is smelling good. Serve this up with some cornbread and some wings, and I'll be happy. And now, my friends, it's time to add that Cajun trinity to that pork fat, which, believe it or not, is damn delicious. So, in goes the celery, the onion, the bell pepper. Immediately it's smelling good in here. We got lots of fond at the bottom of our dish here, or our skillet or pot, Dutch oven, whatever you want to call it, that once the water starts to release from the vegetables, it's going to help bring some of that up. You want to scrape the bottom of your Dutch oven to release all of that fond and flavor. So once the Cajun trinity starts to sweat down, it's time to add some seasoning and some flavor. So I'm going with my all-purpose seasoning. It's a blend of salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, a few other spices. It's also low sodium. And it's also available on my website, MrMakeItHappen.com. We're going in with 1 to 2 tablespoons of garlic, depending on how much you like garlic. I'm a 2 tablespoon kind of guy. A little chicken bouillon powder to elevate the flavor. Nice little flavor enhancer here. You could also use Better Than Bouillon chicken base if you like. For a little bit of heat, I'm going to add my hot AP seasoning. This has a little bit of cayenne and some jalapeno powder. I'm going to go light on this because it does pack a little punch, but I like a little spice in mine. Smoked paprika, a little smoky element. Great addition to the flavor that we're building here. Some dried oregano. We're just going to give all of that a good mix before we go on with our chicken broth. Last but not least, add your favorite Cajun seasoning. Here we have a little slap your mama. Get that in there. And then we're going in with 6 cups of chicken broth. This is low sodium chicken broth, which is why we added the chicken bouillon. Also because it has MSG in it, which is going to make things taste delicious. So we're going to get this in here, bring it up to a boil, add in our beans and our smoked turkey, and let that simmer away for 2.5 hours until the meat starts to fall off the bone and those beans start to get tender. Next up, our beans are tender, the meat's falling off the bone. We still have our herb packet intact. I'm going to remove that, and then we're going to take our smoked turkey leg and start to shred all of that meat off the bone. I like to do it outside of the pot because it has them pin bones in there that I don't want to get mixed up with the good stuff. So let's go ahead and shred that. It's going to be hot as hell, as you can see. But shred all the meat and separate the pin bones. These are the pin bones I'm talking about. That's a choking hazard for sure. So I like to keep that separate. But once you got the meat separated, we're going to go ahead and add that back to the party. The smoked turkey, we went ahead and shredded that up. I like to take a potato masher and start to mash up some of the beans. This is going to help increase or thicken the consistency of our red beans and rice here. We're also going to cook down a little bit more of this broth and reduce it. But you'll notice that it'll thicken up nicely once you get to mashing on the beans. When I mash about 50% of them, I like to leave some of them whole too. Potato masher does the job pretty well. You could also remove some of them and put them in a blender and add them back. Whatever's easiest for you. This is how I like to do it. Potato masher, make a couple passes, get them mashed up, mix it together. Then we're going to add in that andouille sausage, the smoked turkey. Now you can't have red beans and rice without the rice, so we need 2 cups of water. We're going to add that to our pot. We're gonna bring that up to a boil. To that water, we wanna add a nice hefty pinch or two of salt, about a teaspoon of olive oil. We're gonna add our rice, cover it with the lid, 15, 20 minutes, fluff it, plate it up. All right, guys, budget-friendly Jiffy cornbread, staple in my household growing up, probably yours too, I would imagine. If not, sorry, give it a try. We got 2 boxes of Jiffy here. Everybody knows how to make this, but I'm gonna show you how I do it. Then we're going in with our half and half or milk, followed by 2 beaten eggs. Get all of that in there. I'm also gonna add about 2.5 to 3 tablespoons of butter. Give that a mix. Then we're gonna add in our sugar. This was more so for the blog picture, so we're not gonna add quite this much sugar. Probably about 2 tablespoons, or just keep going to your heart is content. Mix that in. Then more so for flavor than sweetness, I like to add just a tablespoon of honey. We'll add a little bit more to the top once it's out of the oven. But this does 2 things. It adds a little flavor, a little sweetness, and it also helps it brown up a little bit in the oven. So does the sugar. So to give that a good mix, once you got the consistency you're looking for, we're gonna add this to the casserole dish. Spray the casserole dish down so the cornbread comes out easily. Pop this in a 400-degree oven and cook it per package instructions, and you have yourself some fantastic cornbread. Definitely Southern style, definitely on the sweeter side. So if you're a savory cornbread person, then this may not be for you. All right, people, we did this one right. We got the honey butter cornbread. We got the red beans and rice. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in a greased ramekin or bowl for plating purposes. Right there in the middle. Got you a nice little mound. Presents nicely. Then we're just going to add as much of this delicious red beans and rice, or red beans with the rice, as you feel like you want. This right here will get you through some hard times. I don't care what's going on in your life. If you give me a bowl of this, it's going to cheer me up. That's the beauty of food. It's there for you when you want to celebrate, and it's there to comfort you when things are bad. This right here is comfort food 101. Epitome of comfort food. We're gonna go ahead and plate this up with 2 big pieces of cornbread, because this is a big ass bowl, and we're sharing it amongst friends the way you should. This is the part where I say brace yourself for a trademark money shot. Say it with me, guys. Looking good. The only thing left to do is grab my spoon and dig in for the taste test. But before we do that, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. All right. Let's get a little rice on in there. Man. Gotta get that edge piece. The edge piece can act as a shovel. That crispiness gives it a little bit more integrity. I ain't dropping this because I'm going to need it later.
Oh my goodness.
I'm about to call my mom.
Slap my mama. Bro. It's like a war.
Guess who's back? Goddamn, 2 pieces of cornbread, bro.
Yeah, what you
on a
think?
diet.
Yeah, not today.
That's 3. He ate 1.
Yeah, definitely one.
Out of pocket.
Yeah, I'm out of control, y'all.
Ain't getting no steps in today.
Listen,
I got a half piece of cornbread for the waistline.
a little bit of that rice.
There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody say grace.
Jeez. Quiet over there, boo.
Gotta mash that cornbread up in there. Man.
Don't worry about it now. It's so good.
4?
No, it's 3.
Bro, this shit is good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you need some cornbread for this.